Hey, it is Rachel coming to you on September 8th. I really appreciate, again, your flexibility. I know that Ms. Miller has reached out to you guys to push off a synchronous collaborative planning session for another week because I know that testing and just kind of getting back into the grind of a new school year is asking a lot of you guys. That being said, there were some supports that Ms. Miller and I developed that we wanted to make sure that we got in front of you as quickly as possible so that we can get your feedback and be able to start working with these documents as soon as possible. So without further ado, here they are. All right, so I know that some people had been asking Ms. Miller what the lesson plan format expectation is for this year. And after talking with some of your fellow teachers and after we discussed it, we thought that this might be kind of an easy way to have everything digitally. Of course, if you want to continue to like photocopy your physical copy of the teacher manual to make annotations, that's a great method, but that also has its demands, you know, your demands of your limited paper, demands of copy time, and also makes it so that there's only one physical copy of your lesson plan instead of being able to like access it online should you want to send it to someone or should you have to suddenly and unexpectedly make another transition to working from home again. But regardless, this is the document that we created. I will have a link to this document in the description of this video. And what I'd like you guys to do is to open it up. You should have commenting privileges as soon as you open it. All of you will have the commenting privileges. I'd really like it if you guys could go in and like any modifications, any additions that you think would be beneficial for you should you choose to use this document. I would love it if you could share those maybe by Friday, ideally, so that I could have some time this weekend to work on it, or if not, by early next week, just so that when we do meet next week again for planning, I've been able to take into account all of your suggestions and make it a document that is going to be the most helpful for you. So I hope I tried to make it like cute and not corny, but it might still be corny. That's okay. This is the document. It is a Google document, which, as you know, you can access from your phone, your tablet, your computer, wherever. You can share it with whomever in whatever degree you want if you have a co-teacher or, you know, whatever. So within this document, there are all these different categories. I haven't finished building it out because each of you has a different number of lessons within an arc, but we'll get to that in a second. So you'll see here, each of these is also linked, but starting on page 2, you have the module study protocol, which you may have already done, you may have already looked at. This is just a place where, like, should you not have done it, or if you wanted to like copy and paste your stuff into this, you would have, you know, for module 1, you would have your module study protocol right here at the beginning of this document in case you wanted to refer back to it as you were looking at focus question arcs, or if you're even looking within individual lessons and thinking like, oh wait, I already looked at this, like let me go back to that module study protocol. So again, it just goes through the module study protocol, just like I'm sure many of you have already done. Then I can't figure out how to get rid of this blank page. So there's a blank page left intentionally blank, as they say on testing documents. Then you get to the focused arc study, which, you know, if you click here, it'll also take you there. Again, some of you, I think, may have already gotten the video and already gone through planning for your first focusing question arc. This is a really great practice to do at the beginning of each, or I guess before each focus question arc, because it helps you get a really great sense of what's upcoming, what is the focus question task, what are the targeted skills within this lesson, and how do each of the different activities and texts within this arc contribute to that focusing question task, and then by extension, the end of module task. If you haven't seen that video, I'll also link it here, or it's also available like within this account. In that video, I show you a completed focus focus question arc study. You know what I'm talking about. It's just a collection of words. Anyway, I show you a completed one that I worked on with Mr. Nance, where we had like a really great conversation and we're able to like pretty simply, but in a way that I think was really effective in a planning way, like complete this so that he was really felt ready and prepared, and had a really deep understanding of his upcoming focus question arc with his students. So again, if you've already done this, you know, you would just copy and paste your stuff in. If not, you could go back and like look at that kind of walkthrough video and then do it within this document. I don't know why I can't see these things on the side here. There we go. So there's the focus question arc. It's just, you know, several pages. And then there is where we actually have kind of a format that you could use for lesson planning. It looks, of course, different than the lesson plan that's provided by Wit and Wisdom, because like I don't have the capacity to copy and paste every lesson plan for all K-8 teachers in, but you know, just like basic stuff at the top here, what's the date, the essential question and focusing question. This could just be copied and pasted, you know, for a whole focus question arc, thinking about what content stage, what the content framing question is, the learning goals and checks for understanding. All this is just copied and pasted, you know, straight from the lesson plan. And even these first two columns are more or less just copied and pasted straight from your digital copy of the lesson plan. Like if you were to be annotating, like this is the stuff that already be there. And these columns in this light green color, the why and the assessments, pardon me, how rude. This is kind of where your like annotations, your own thinking, your own processing of what's happening within that lesson would take place. So like clearly you can change, you know, the lesson sections to add or modify whatever there are. And you just like put what the teacher is doing or saying, what the students are doing or saying. And then here's where you're thinking about like, why is the teacher doing this? Why are the students doing these things? Some of these questions that Ms. Miller came up with underneath here are, how does this help students meet the learning goals, answer the content or craft stage questions? And also, how does it help them prepare for the FQT and the EOM tasks? This is another reason why I thought it would be really valuable to keep these like focus question task and module planning documents within the same document, because you can just scroll up and see like, oh yeah, I've already looked at like how this lesson kind of fits in. I've already looked at how lesson number 1 fits into the FQT. So if you wanted to like kind of have some more reference points about the deep thinking that you've already done, it's all kind of in one convenient place. And then thinking about assessments. This is one of the things that those of you who were at Waverly at the end of last school year, we did in our last kind of cycle of collaborative professional learning. We looked at the fact that like there really are assessment opportunities at all stages throughout a lesson. They just might not be like formal assessments, you know, like it might be something that seems a little less formal. So of course, like what CFUs, what official CFUs are there, what checks for understanding are there, but also like what other data can you collect from within these different stages of the lesson. And just highlighting these within this last column is a great way to make sure that you're not like skipping over something that is a very valuable data collection or assessment measure for you to know what is up with your students and what they gleaned from a lesson. And there's also, as always, just like a little notes category at the bottom. So like, you know, there's the space to have these. I wasn't clearly sure how, like this will vary from person to person. I put 8 lessons within the ARC 1 just because that seemed like kind of an average number. And then I did the same thing for ARC 2. Next week, once I kind of get your feedback about how you feel about this and like if this is something that you guys want to use, and if so, what modifications, I can walk you through, if you're not like super Google Doc savvy, like how you can, you know, either add or remove lesson plans from an ARC so that it matches your module 1 design. And then as you add lessons, you know, they'll just auto populate here, and then you can click them either from there or from, this first page. They don't look like hyperlinks, but they are hyperlinks. Another thing that we'll talk about when we meet next week is the ways that this type of lesson planning document, this like module, focus, question, task, and lesson planning document could fit in with the standards tracker document that I think is going to be a really great way to help you guys plan for a small group. So if you haven't seen that video, again, I'll link it in the description below. I've always wanted a reason to say link in the description below, but now I have a reason to. Lucky me. I also just want to stress that I bring this to you, and I created this because I wanted it to feel like less work, and I understand that this is just like another collection of documents to like fill out online, and that can feel like just another thing that's being added to a robust collection of things that are being asked of you. But it's really, I think, and I hope that you will gently and professionally tell me how it could be used otherwise. But I think like, sure, the lesson plans are provided by Wit and Wisdom, and we need to follow them with fidelity, but we also like all know that it's important to go through and actually do the work of like at a base level reading through it beforehand and really thinking about it and like having a deeply ingrained understanding of what the components of each lesson are and why, like what they're intended for and how they're a part of the bigger picture. So since those are things that you would be doing anyway through the form of like physically written annotations, this is just a way to like do the same kind of annotations but digitally. And these focus, question, arc studies and module study protocols are already things that you'd be doing digitally, so this is just a way to like keep them all in one place for you. All right, so just to recap some next steps, I'm going to leave the link to this module planning document in the description of this video. Please, today is Wednesday, September 8th. Hopefully by Friday the 10th, if not by Monday, for sure. Please go in and just take a look, take a click through, leave any comments or suggestions that you have so that I can make modifications. If you haven't looked at the module study protocol and focus, question, arc study protocol videos, I'll leave those linked as well. I'm not sure exactly what has been communicated to you as far as expectations around those, so I'll just put the links so that you can peruse those if you're interested. I'll also put a link in the description of this video to the standards tracker, but we'll discuss that in greater length soon. I look forward to seeing you guys next week for collaborative planning. And as always, I appreciate your flexibility and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.